James, driver of the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. Matt and myself, we're going to take and do the show most of the time. We got somebody coming in here in a little while that's going to join in. We got Alan Piquette, going to be talking with him in a little while. And
no, it's not the Alan Piquette that everybody thinks it is. We'll get to that in a few. Joe Scarbrough at 7:30.
Joe Scarbrough at 7:30. And we may have a couple other people pop it in there. We should put Tony up here behind us, you know, since he is the 2011 champion. What do you think about that?
Well deserved. Either one of them was well deserved. That was a damn good race overall. I know we haven't been on air since then, but just a damn good race. I mean, well deserved by either one of them. Carl did a great job, and Tony did a great job, and pretty much inched him by a win. That's all it was.
It's the only thing he could do to win it was to win it.
He had to win it. Carl had to win it.
No, Carl didn't have to win it.
Yeah, well,
if
depending
Carl
on
was, if
he
Carl
had to
was
be
in
one
front of
position
him,
ahead.
If Carl was in front of him any place, Tony lost.
Yep.
And the only way Tony could win was to win.
Yep.
Otherwise, he would have been 1 point shy.
There's my buddy Harry walking in with a sweatshirt.
He probably figures it's a little chilly out there. Anywho, what else we have going on? When we were talking about Steve Addington is going to be...
Steve Addington's going to be Tony Stewart's new crew chief, who left Kurt Busch, Penske.
Yep.
No surprise there, actually. I think we saw that coming. But where's Darian Grubb going?
Well, rumor has it to be competition, chief of competition or something like that.
That's what they're talking about. Now, that was the last thing that I had heard, and there's nothing in here.
Zip on around.
Stewart Addington wanted something a little bit to approach Addington to work with Joe Gibbs. That's right. He was with Bobby Labonte, J.J. Yaley, and Kyle Busch.
Who's that? Grubb?
Steve Addington.
Steve Addington. Anybody that didn't see that coming is delusional. Kurt Busch is showing his rear end all season. Actually, more than just this season.
Others crew chiefs on the move. Steve, no, I'm just reading real quick.
He's leaving dead air now.
I know, I'm leaving dead air. I'm sorry.
Like an airhead.
Well, what have you covered so far?
Tony Stewart won the championship. Darian Grubb's leaving.
We've only been on for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Stewart limited into the chase. The decision was made before they were in the chase.
Yeah, before they got in the chase, it was already a thing. But
halfway through the season, they already knew Grubb wasn't going to be coming back as crew chief.
But the one thing that Tony Stewart said, and he kind of gave him kudos on it, is it took the pressure off of everything when it was decided that he would leave at the end of the year. He wasn't getting fired. Mm-hmm. He had time to look for another job. Mm-hmm. You know, so it was like, okay, woohoo, let's go have fun and whip everybody's ass.
He may
And that's
stay
what
in
they
the
did.
Stewart Haas administration. Who knows?
He
I
still
think he
could.
will.
I
I think he's going to.
Yeah, I think I see
Now,
that coming.
one thing
too.
I want to mention about Grubb, though, during the chase, you saw a lot of crew chief calls really pay off. I mean, 5 out of 10 wins.
50% of the last 10 races.
Exactly.
That's a good deal.
Exactly, but he made the same kind of calls all year.
Yeah.
And during the regular season, it just bit him in the tail every time. So I think he made his risky calls early enough in the season to learn just how far he could get away with things and just put it to everybody in the chase.
Well, hey, vindication.
Absolutely.
But
That was
you know what?
dominating performance.
But if
there.
you listen to them that down there at it was Tony Stewart didn't argue with him one bit.
Oh,
okay, let's do this. Let's stay out. Let's beat them on fuel mileage. You know, we pitted late so we could stay out there, and that's how they won.
Yeah, but see, they argued. Tony Stewart and Grubb, if you listen to the in-car audio and things, they kind of butted heads earlier on in the year, and it wasn't getting them anywhere.
Exactly, and that's my point.
And then after the first 2 races, Tony was one of his own biggest skeptic, and he
Critic, as you want to say.
yeah, and between Grubb and Stewart, their performance in the first 2 races, sweeping both of those, they turned themselves into believers, and at that point, you're the boss and the driver, and everything's working out. So
go with it.
Yeah,
and that's what they did.
If it's working,
and that's what they did. Tony said at the first race of the year, he didn't think that they were championship contenders.
Well, it's after the first 2 races in the chase, it's not like they snuck in both wins. They went out and spanked some tail.
They went out and just literally whooped some ass, is what they did.
And the other 3 victories, I'm trying to think of what the closest one was, because none of them were really close at the end.
No.
Even Homestead, everybody knew Tony was coming.
Oh,
Carl
yeah. And
knew Tony was coming. And then once Tony got out front, it was done.
It was, yeah. There was no stopping him.
None.
It was not going to be.
Sergio will be calling. So we'll have Sergio at 7:45.
You'll do what?
Pena.
Sergio Pena. Uh-oh, Steve Meal gone at ECR. I'm going through everything.
Trying to catch up.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. It's been a long week. Competition director Steve Meal and team manager Tony Glover. They've both been there.
Yep, there's a lot.
Since it was Earnhardt.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be one of the most turbulent off seasons we've seen in a long time on a lot of teams.
Oh, I was going to say with Tony and those guys, Tony finally decided and said to himself, "Hey, I hired this man to be crew chief. Let him be the crew chief. Let us quit button heads. He knows what he's doing. He's been on a championship team.
Oh yeah,
let's go back there," and they did.
Well, I think that's just like what you said, though. Once that pressure was off, okay, we're parting companies.
Yeah.
Let's just go race and have fun. Look what they did.
Oh yeah.
And you could tell Tony was having a blast. Darian was having a blast. It seemed more relaxed.
Did you listen to any of the post-race shows and everything where they had a lot more of the in-car audio from Tony at Homestead?
Some of it, yeah. Very relaxed.
Well, not only that, they went to the back twice, and both times he's just chatting away on his crew going, man, they're really going to be upset when we come back from being back twice to beat them.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in Stewart's mind.
SOB, blah blah blah. Yeah, there was no doubt.
The crew, of course, they had on 2 different stops. They had the air gun problems.
Yep.
Stuck a lug nut, and they're beating themselves up. And Tony's going, "Are you kidding me? This is the most fun I've had all season. I'm passing cars all over the place. This is the way racing should be."
It was said the first half of the race he passed 49 cars.
The figure I heard was over the entire race. I don't think it was all 4 position, but he passed 118 cars.
Yeah.
Some of those would be putting cars laps down, but he physically passed 118 cars. And coming from the back to beating Carl, who led the most laps, that means every car on the track he passed at least once.
At least once.
Every car. So, what's the best way to win the Ford 400? In a
Pass
Chevrolet.
every damn car twice.
No, in a Chevrolet. That's how you win the Ford 400. In a Chevrolet.
Starting the back.
No, in a Chevrolet.
In the
Ford,
Chevrolet.
Ford.
400. In the Chevrolet. I knew that. I caught that.
We were wondering if he was catching that.
No, I caught that. In a Chevrolet.
That's right.
So, tough car. They had said
yeah.
they were getting all new cars. They were updating all this stuff. That helped out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and you know, heard that down in Martinsville. These newer cars are a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm.
They can put their weights where they want it.
Yeah.
All good to go.
Well,
I wish the best for Darien, though.
The chassis shops have figured out how to build these COT chassis in such a way that they meet all the requirements, but without as many gussets that they used to have to use to meet the dimension rules and things like that. So they're getting better at it, and of course they're going to get lighter weight. You know, they're going to be just as strong and just as tunable, but obviously if you can lighten up the chassis, you can play with your weight ballast, and the cars are going to get better.
Yep. And we've heard it from several drivers that those things are bricks.
Oh, yeah.
They're just tanks. So, what other shakeups have we heard about this year?
Oh,
Well, you had the first time NASCAR has ever penalized a driver across 3 series for one incident.
No,
in a
it's
weekend.
not.
No.
It's not.
No, it
No,
is.
it's not.
No. The first time over all 3 series in the same weekend.
Kevin Harvick did it to him in the trucks.
No,
You know what?
Kevin Harvick. That
It was
was
just trucks and Cup.
nationwide in Montreal,
yeah.
and they prevented him from racing
The Cup.
the trucks. No, it happened in trucks, and they stopped him from racing nationwide in Montreal, but he still raced Cup that weekend.
No.
Yes.
No, I
Yes.
thought they pulled him the whole. We'll find out.
Google.
Hold on.
Bring
Hold
it
on.
up.
Delana made the comment on Twitter.
That don't make it true.
Hold on. We're going to find out.
I've read several articles,
Harvick.
and they're talking about Kyle Busch is the first one NASCAR's penalized across
Hold
all
on.
3 series in the same weekend. Because the incident with Harvick, I'm pretty sure that happened
Penalized.
in either a truck race and he got penalized for nationwide, or it was
Because he didn't get to race Cup.
Who stood in for him? Do you remember?
I don't know. Let's see what it is.
Hold on. April 4th,
But there was multiple sources I read that
Harvick
said Kyle
Park.
Busch
April
was
4th, 2002.
the first.
Since Martinsville, hands down, 1 race penalty for RCR driver.
There you go. 1 race.
Hold on. We're going to find out. I expect a lot of clinch behavior to
Go ahead.
Burton. We're going to still be perfect
I
by
bet
any
our
means.
next guest that I'm
Finally
going to
ran-
call in and bring in, he could probably answer it.
Harvick penalty finalized by NASCAR early Sunday came after he clashed several times with Coy Gibbs during a Crash Truck Series at .52 mile racetrack.
How many laps in at Martinsville was that incident with Busch?
13 laps.
13 laps.
Okay.
So how many
Harvick,
laps was he penalized that weekend?
500, over 500.
Oh,
Harvick was
easily.
quickly told by race park instructor to park the rest of the afternoon. On Sunday, just before the Cup race, NASCAR announced that Harvick was parked for the afternoon, so he was only parked
1 race.
one. Well,
Well, the
One
race
series.
He got, well, the,
Yeah,
the
one
race he got
series.
penalized and the following race that
all right,
weekend.
Doc, he's right.
See, Kyle Busch ran 13 laps in the truck race, was parked after that, and that was the most blatant takeout I've ever seen. You could actually see Ron Hornaday get back on the gas trying to run away from that idiot,
Yep.
and still got taken hard to the wall, and they sat him out for Nationwide and Cup.
I think they should have.
But did you see him sitting on the pit box during the Cup race?
Yeah.
He looked like a man who was sweating his job, like he should have been.
I think he should still be sweating his job.
Oh, absolutely. Well, for Homestead, M&M's, Mars, they pulled their sponsorship from his car. For
The two last races, it was Homestead and what was the one race before? Texas
or Phoenix? I don't remember.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Phoenix.
They pulled it for both of them.
Yes.
Because they were on the way to Phoenix.
And they have requirements for him before. They have requirements for him before they will put their.
There you go. So he got booted. Harvick got booted the truck race and the Sunday.
He was parked for the truck race.
Parked for the truck race after
and
his
was
incident.
booted for the Sunday race.
Not only that, he was booted the Saturday race for.
It was Martinsville, so it was the
Nationwide.
Sunday race.
Huh? No, it was Friday night trucks, Saturday night.
Kyle Busch.
Yes, Kyle Busch.
Oh, we're talking Harvick.
Okay.
Oh,
Harvick.
Yeah, Harvick.
We'll
was
get
one
these
race.
guys straight.
Alan, if you want to jump in the middle of this, we're trying to figure out if
I just had it
Harvick
because
got
it was at Martinsville that it happened. So that means they couldn't have been nationwide.
From the nationwide race, because Danny Hamill drove the 18 car, and he got booted from the Sprint Cup race.
Yeah, but we were talking about Kevin Harvick. So Kevin Harvick was the first one to get booted out of all three divisions. Harvick only got booted out of the Cup and was parked during the truck race.
You mean Kyle Busch was the first to be booted on all three?
Kyle Busch
Says
was the
Harvick.
first to be booted from all three. Harvick was only booted from two.
Yeah.
Does that sound right, Alan?
Sounds that does sound right.
Because it was at Martinsville.
Yeah.
So only the trucks and only the Cup. And we had this Mike Smith on here, and we talked to him about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, Kyle Busch was booted from all three series on one
Kevin
weekend.
Harvick,
Oh,
though.
Harvick.
Yeah,
But it wasn't.
Let's get this straight.
But you keep saying Martinsville, and the Kyle Busch thing happened at Martinsville.
No, it didn't.
No,
Yes,
it was at.
yeah.
Okay,
it was
you're
at
the-
Richmond.
No, it wasn't.
What track
It was
it?
at Martinsville.
It was at Martinsville.
Kyle Busch?
Yeah,
No, it
Kyle
wasn't.
Busch.
It was Texas. Kyle Busch incident was at Texas.
That's right. It was Texas.
Okay.
Martinsville was Kevin Harvick.
Okay.
I had to
That's
think
where I
'cause
keep
we were
getting
at
screwed up.
Martinsville, and I said, "Hold on, he raced because I remember it."
He did not race the truck at Martinsville. Josh Richards ran one of his trucks, a Kyle Busch truck. And did Denny run it?
Well, yeah, Danny ran the one at Martinsville. He won. Didn't he win that race at Martinsville in the truck?
He
Yeah,
won
Denny-
that race
Denny
at
did
Martinsville.
win at Martinsville. Yeah, truck.
But that had nothing to do with the fines and penalties. That was all after Martinsville.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alan.
Anyway, we have Alan Piquette on the line. for those that don't know you, Alan, or of course, this is the first time I think you've been on the show.
Yeah, this first time.
Give a brief rundown of how you got into all this stuff and just a nice little short bio.
Yeah, I used to. I was a writer for Speedway Scene. It was a newspaper coming out of the East Coast, and I covered everything from the modified tour to dirt. I was doing that for a good 20-something years, and they ended up closing shop. And now I'm on my own with some people from the old Speedway Scene, and we're starting up a new publication called The Racing Times.
Very cool.
Cool. And now I did talk with you a little bit the other day. You're online. What's your website?
We're switching it over tonight because we had to extend it, but it's going to be theracingtimes.net, and that's where people can find us.
Okay. And you're going to Racing Times. I'm going to write this down so I don't forget it again.
Yeah, times.net.
So what are you covering? Let's talk about what you're covering.
We're going to be doing a little bit of everything. We've got some things lined up. It took a little while to get going because we had to cross all the T's and dot the I's with the Speedway Scene people. We had to get some litigation in. We got that done. We're going to be covering. We just got accepted with NASCAR this past week. I was working with the legal department. And we are going to be, vending the pictures and a whole bunch of things. So we did get certified with NASCAR. We're on board with them. We got the same thing approved just this morning with Indy. And we're going to be covering all the divisions, basically up and down the East Coast, the dirt modifieds, the World of Outlaw late models, the Lucas Oil late models, sprint cars, asphalt late models. We're getting a little bit of everything, and we're going to be doing a lot of NEMA stuff. So every day it's like checking my email. There's new people that want to get involved, and we're just happy to have them aboard.
So you're going to go to Indy this year, NASCAR. We're doing a whole plethora of things, aren't we?
Yeah, it started where I was working a full-time job and doing this, and now it's coming to the point where it's the full-time job is getting in the way of this, so now it's basically just this.
Okay.
So, but I will be traveling a lot more this coming year. We've already got some major races already booked. All the New Hampshire stuff. New Hampshire is going to be one of our biggest backers. We have some short tracks, so I'm going to divide everything up from short tracks to big tracks. So it's going to be I'll be running scarce for the summer months.
Do you now? Are you going to be doing all the riding and all that, or is this going to be something you're going to have some guys going to different races for you?
Yeah, we're going to have some people writing for us, and we're working on some people in the racing community are also going to help out. We're in the talks with Shauna Robinson, a former, race car driver herself.
Yep.
We're working on some other drivers. I was talking to some people this past weekend at Wall Stadium. Some modified tour drivers that want to get involved. I'm starting to get a lot of email of people. What we want to do is it's going to be basically a fan magazine for fans. So we're trying to get some fans out there too that go to their local tracks, so like either a Friday or a Saturday night, and to put some stuff together. And we're getting really good positive feedback on it. And now it's, we're going to sit down during the winter months and, figure out who's who and what we're going to do and who's going to do what.
Cool. Put my name on that list.
I'll be glad to. Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, you guys were talking about Kyle Busch, and we have his hauler driver that's going to be doing a diary for us of how it is. You leave North Carolina, you go to the different tracks throughout the country. He's going to be doing like a diary about how it is to be a truck driver driving to race to race. We have the cook for Earnhardt Ganassi, the Jamie McMurray, and Juan Pablo's team. Kat McDonald, she's going to be doing stuff for us. So we're trying to get some people that are involved in the racing to come out and do some stuff for us. And, it's been positive so far. So, and the more people, the better. Anybody that's listening out there that wants to put something together or wants to write or even, send photos, my email is, you can send it to info@theracingtimes.net, and we answer all our emails.
Well, we might have to talk. I might have to get with you on that. I'm gonna ask you this here real quick, and we'll kind of keep the show rolling here a little bit.
Okay.
Give me your take on Tony Stewart, Kyle Busch. What do you think of this year's championship?
You mean Carl Edwards?
I thought the last race of the year was a classic drive by Tony Stewart. I just thought the way he handled it, it was just like it was like watching a clinic, like somebody, a doctor doing some weird surgery that you never see, and it comes precise. I mean, the way he drove, the way he did put everything together for that Sunday, I thought he just put on the clinic.
It's funny you mentioned that because we were talking just before you got on the phone. Of the 5 races that he won in the chase, I was trying real hard to think of a race that was really close that he won, and of the 5 that he won, I can't think of one that was close.
Homestead was probably the closest.
Yeah, because they were 1-2. I think that's the only race they finished 1-2, wasn't it?
No, they finished. Well, it wasn't 1-2. They finished 2 and 3 at Texas, but that was the closest they finished to each other. I'm just thinking of the 5 races that he did win. I mean, if he was going to win, it wasn't even close at the end. I mean, once he got around Carl at Homestead, Carl said it himself. He was doing everything he could. There was nothing left in him or the car.
I just thought, I know some crew members that work on Ryan Newman's team, and I talked to them a couple days after the race, and it was just basically they were saying the same thing. They were just in awe, and he was focused, and he was just basically he just put on a clinic, what a superb race car driver would do.
Yeah. If you were talking to Newman's team, did they say anything about running? Were they actively trying to do as good as they could, or were they running some experimental setup stuff? Or
I know when they went to New Hampshire, they were like the fastest car coming off the block, and they thought that when I talked to the guys in the pits, they were like, we've got the only way they were going to lose that race is that unless they like stab themselves in the foot, and that's what happened. They just put the wrong set of tires on at the wrong time, and it was just all downhill for It just seems that once a team struggles in the beginning of the chase, the first two races, and fall towards the end, you never really see him come back. Like Jeff Gordon did that, and he really wasn't a factor anymore. Once Jimmy Johnson got in the back, then he started, then he was wrecking and he was doing different things. And it seems to be in the chase that once that you're out of it, it's just towards in the back. I just think that you just start preparing for next year.
Yeah, it's definitely. They talk about the chase being the playoffs of NASCAR, and that's exactly right. You stumble, you can stumble once, you stumble twice, and you're done.
You stumble twice, and I think they just start prepping for next year. And it's unless you go out and win the next couple of races, you get focused again. But wasn't the point. Everybody saw how hot Tony Stewart was, winning 5 of the races, and I think most of the teams just started working on, what they can do next year.
Yeah. Kind of like the Roush camp at Homestead blowing up so many engines. All the guys that were outside the chase. The Roush camp was definitely trying to find something for next year.
Yeah. That's what I think Greg Biffle was doing for them. I think Matt Kenseth at the point after him and the Vicker incident, I think they started working on next year and what they were going to do. And nobody knows what's going on with David Reagan for next year, but it appears that he's going to be out of a ride, and I think Stenhouse will be in that ride.
You think they will move Stenhouse up that quick?
I think they will, because Roush has got a lot of younger drivers that through the ranks to fill in for Stenhouse. So I think that you're going to see Ricky Stenhouse, maybe not a full series. I wouldn't doubt seeing him. And maybe the majority of them, or maybe half.
Is UPS moving on?
Roush has lost. I know that he lost the 6th sponsor in UPS. I know he lost Crown Royal for Kansas, and those 2 cars right now are looking for different sponsors, and they're hurting. I think the only people that are really secure in that is Edwards and Biffle right now are the 2 ones that are mainly secured in that camp.
Yeah.
And I heard some rumblings today. I don't know how much true it is, but that Kurt Busch might be out of the 22 because it's coming to a point where Penske's not happy with his conduct. So that's going to be something that could be coming up in the next, months or a few weeks. What's going to be happening there, because Penske's a class act, and he always was a class act, and what Kurt Busch is doing and what he did at Homestead, I wouldn't be surprised if you see somebody else in the 22.
Well,
we can only hope.
that was brought up too, and he did lose Steve Addington this week.
Yep.
So
that's not the first time we've talked about a Busch brother losing a ride because of their attitude. Kyle lost his ride at Hendrick.
Hendrick, he lost in the 5 car.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't think he lost it, but he was asked not to come back.
Well,
it's
the same as being fired.
You're right.
So.
They just have a polite way of doing it.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at old pictures from Modified Mayhem. If you ever it's on Facebook.
Am I on there?
Yeah.
No, Joe, you're not on there.
How old?
Yeah, pretty doggone old. We're talking black and white.
If it's Vegas and Pintos, look for a little kid in the grandstands, probably with his fingers wrapped around the fence. That's me.
there is a bunch of, I mean, Redfoot and Dennis Zimmerman.
No, I don't. Where were they? Where were they from?
Mike McLaughlin, Spencer Speedway, 1983.
No, I would have been one of the kids, but no, not up at Spencer. I didn't get quite that far north. Maybe Stafford. I don't think I've been to Thompson, Wall, Riverhead, most of like Long Island, New York, New Jersey area.
Okay. Joe, we got Alan Piquette on here with us. Alan's a sports
Did I just like barge in and interrupt? Yeah, sorry, I'll shut up.
Yeah, you're good at that. We know that.
Yeah, I know. Some people call it gift of gab.
Yeah.
Other people have other words for it. We'll leave them out.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's this year. That don't count. Steady Eddie Flemke.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It is,
Joe, we got Alan Piquette on here, sports writer, racingtimes.net, and we've been talking about, a little bit of everything. Tony Stewart, Carl Edwards, the Chase, Kurt Busch, whether he's got a ride or not. Kyle Busch, that's another thing.
He's got a ride or not.
Alan, we're going to talk about that. Have you heard any rumblings? I've heard a little bit, but the Kyle Busch deal.
It might be on a short leash, but I can tell you right now, people hate Kyle Busch, people love Kyle Busch, but I think Kyle Busch is great for NASCAR. It's just the fact his feistiness and what he does is, do NASCAR condone what he did at Texas? No, but did it build up a fan base for the next couple races to see what's going to go on? They were getting more hits on their website because of what's going on. And, if you like him or you hate him, but I really think that he's good for NASCAR. The little feud that he had with Harvick, the thing that happened with him at Childress, it's just got people coming back. It's like a soap opera, and they got people coming back, and coming back. And people that jumped into NASCAR this year, it might be their first time, sees what's going on. And I think, that because of that, I'm not condoning what he did, but I think it was good for NASCAR to have something like that.
The professional wrestling effect.
Yeah, because it's like all the races were either fuel mileage races, which are really like snoozers.
Oh, yeah.
Those races, you could just come back and watch the last 10 laps on TV and let the rest of the race go. But when you got Kyle Busch and feuds going, people stay glued to the TV to see, like, okay, they're getting close together to see what's going to happen. And, I think it's good for NASCAR to have something like that. I mean, not to the point where you go out and wreck what he did to Hornaday and the trucks. I mean, that was uncalled for, but maybe a little nudge or do something to the effect. But, I mean, I think it's good for NASCAR. I mean, they want the slogan, let the boys have at it, and, let the boys have at it.
Yeah. But don't you think it's kind of gone a little... I mean, Dale Earnhardt was our bad boy, but you either loved him or you loved to hate him.
That's exactly how Kyle Busch is right now with the fans. I can guarantee if you ask, 10 fans, you'll probably get 5 that hate him immensely, and then 5 that think he's the best driver.
Okay.
I don't think it's that even.
Well, yeah. I don't like him. I don't care for what he does. I don't care for his attitude. I mean, the man wins the race in the first ever COT car and gets out and calls it a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Come on. You need to be a little bit more politically correct there.
Yeah.
You can have an opinion without being an idiot.
Exactly. It's like Tony Stewart. Tony Stewart I've heard him cut down Goodyear so bad.
Oh, yeah.
But he's always come back and he's always said, but I know they're trying. They'll get better. Mm-hmm. You don't hear that out of Kyle Busch. Dale Earnhardt was the same way. Yeah. He verbally abused NASCAR for putting a restrictor plate on there. But then, he was always the first one to say, NASCAR's trying to do something. Mm-hmm. And you don't hear that out of Kyle Busch.
And, it goes farther than that, too. I mean, it's how they conduct themselves off the track as well. I mean, Kyle Busch, he got the speeding ticket in North Carolina and all that stuff. But I've seen stuff that Kyle's done with children, bringing kids to amusement parks, a side of Kyle Busch that people haven't seen.
Yeah,
the side that his publicist wants to show.
The Kyle Busch, he does have a good side that a lot of people don't get to see, and it's not always something that they push out there.
Yeah, and it's like, if you see, a lot of people like Tony Stewart, I mean, there's a lot of things that I've seen like when they had like the NASCAR 360 show, I thought that was a great show with the drivers, or Driver 360. I forgot what they called it, but it showed them like off the track, and I think a lot of fans got to see more of how the drivers are off the track. I know you got cameras following you, so you're not going to be doing what you would normally do, but it just gives you a little more insight of how different drivers are and different things. And it's just, if you see what Kyle Busch does, I mean, yeah, people, again, I mean, you love him or you hate him, but I just feel that the way he does things and what he does off the track, I think he's really good for NASCAR. And, I mean, eventually it's coming to the point where they probably won't let him drive the push cars or the truck cars anymore, or the trucks, but you're sure he's going to be an owner and he's going to have people racing for him, so he's going to be involved in all three divisions one way or another.
Yeah, well, they kind of tried to limit his effect on the other series this year with only allowing drivers to score points in one series.
Yeah.
They still score owner points, but last year, actually the last couple of years, with Kyle Busch trying to lock up the championship in 2 or 3 series all in 1 year, he got to the point where he was doing stupid things with race cars.
But
I think he more wasn't worried about the points, but he was more worried about getting the money to move up to the next point with his team. It was more like money racing this year, so he's got more money to bankroll for next year, and like moving his truck series to the nationwide. I think it was just more of racing and trying to get money, because there's some races that he didn't even have to be involved in. He could have had like Ickler or somebody else in the truck.
Oh yeah.
But now think of this as a car owner. Do you want somebody? You've got a candy company that sells to kids. Do you want them coming down pit road and right there in front of God and everybody flipping people off?
No.
Or yeah.
Or that's the best way. That would have done it in for me right there.
But I don't want to be a person that's going to Shell too to get gas and seeing effing everybody in the pits either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen part of the Jerry Punch Kurt Busch deal, and I think if I was Dr. Jerry Punch, and if I wasn't a doctor, I would have punched him out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely uncalled for. I mean, there was no. I mean, yeah, he was upset, but I mean, he was well out of the chase. I mean, so there was nothing. You had an early day. You had an early day. It's not.
Right.
There's no team's fault. It's just the transmission went.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So why were you getting mad? That's the deal.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. Well, Alan, I'm going to let you go here. We're going to get you on here starting at the beginning of the year. I want to thank you for coming on tonight, and racingtimes.net, right?
Racingtimes.net, and anybody again that's interested in writing or anything, or photography or anything like that, just go to info@theracingtimes.net and drop me an email. What I'll do is I'll send you a media kit that we have put together and different things that we're looking for, and I'm glad to have everybody that wants to get involved.
Sounds good to me. We got it written down here, and we'll be talking to you soon, Alan. Thanks for coming on.
All right, thanks.
All right, man.
All right, bye.
Poor Joe couldn't even get nothing in edgewise, could you?
I'm biting my tongue over here. I didn't want to be rude,
It was jumping you on the start every time.
It's hard to be on the third end of the phone call there. You can't see the body language of when you can get a word in.
Yeah.
How's my buddy Joe doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I had one phone that died, and then I went to grab another. The dogs all started barking, and
That was the barking dogs over there.
so if you heard a wolf pack in there at one point in time, that was just my mutts thinking it was time to go out.
We were thinking about doing up a little routine, who let the dogs out,
Yeah, it's all gone to the dogs. Yeah, let's not get too deep into the dog jokes.
No. We'll stay off them doggone jokes.
Right.
How's my buddy Joe doing? How's your foot? Are we Frankensteined?
Yeah, well, I got a racist. My foot's got a Darlington stripe on it now, but it had one. It was kind of a year-long process. It was I had a broken joint that I broke too many times, and they used it. And I was supposed to go back in like August to have all the hardware taken out, but we all know what season that is, and we had to finish the year out. And I took all the stuff out, and I got a little bag of screws and stuff. I'm gonna sell some charm bracelets out of it. And I'm good to go. You know, your shoes back on, walking around, having fun. You know, I actually took the 944 out there, the sports car. I'll be running some next year. Drove that around the parking lot today.
How'd that go?
I had to itch to get back in. Well, it went slow. It was in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Hey, I've been making a race car, so I feel good about it. You know?
That ought to be fun. I know you got some things in the works, and I'm not going to bring them up or anything, but we're sitting here with a modified, a Wheeling modified now. How's that going?
It's going good. You know, our team's fiscal year ends around the first of the year, or begins at the first of the year. So it really hasn't freed up the budget and stuff yet. So we haven't really started any big purchasing or anything like that, you know, to get everything. But we kind of got our ducks in line. You know, a lot of changes. The NASCAR rule book is, you know, it's a novel in comparison to something like, you know, an IMCA or Langley style modified, where it's like a pamphlet, word of mouth, you know. But you know, specific containment seats and the motor spec motors and things like that. So we're getting it all together. We're getting all our ducks in a row. And you know, we got a used car, so you know, straighten up bumpers and nerf rails, body panels, things like that. But I mean, it's looking good. You know, making all my contacts. Been in touch with Ken Barrios, Babco Chassis, and he's a nice guy, very helpful. I've told him who I bought the car from, and he told me like the previous owner. So this is a guy who's really on top of his game, knows his cars. This guy, I guess when I kind of got the feeling when a car goes out of their shop, it's like you're adopting a child from them. I mean, it's an older chassis. It's a '96, and I mean, he knew who had the car before the guy that had it, you know, the last couple of years. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm lucky if I can find my old cars at this point. You know.
Yeah. Oh.
It's coming along. Got some sponsors and stuff lining up. Nothing we can really announce before the first of the year. A couple new ones. A couple of us staying on board with us. So it's looking forward to it.
Hey, has that been going well? I've got a little insight, so I can't get it going. But has it been going well?
Sponsor hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Darren Mix is doing a great job. He's been basically our full-time marketing guy now, and he's just out there just wheeling and dealing and making contacts and stuff. We got a lot of people on board and renewing some more relationships. One Soul, the interchangeable shoe, should be back on with us again this coming season, and Denso Spark Plugs will be supplying spark plugs for us again this year. And I mean, great product. I mean, this is really from a racer's point of view. This is not the you know, we couldn't have done it today without Acme's whatever in the car. It really is a phenomenal product. I highly recommend trying them because we would plugs and motor like every 2 or 3 weeks, and we ran the Densos like all year, like one set.
Really?
Wow.
We took them out just because it's like they got to go, don't they? Just put a set in. It's been too long, you know.
You just take them out, look at them, and
great.
Can't find fault and put them back in?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to put them things back in another motor. They were great. So I was very, very impressed. It's definitely a superior product. And then, you know, we still got our help from John Matlack. Matlack Fabrications is still on board with us, helping us out. McMullen Race Engines will be doing, he's kind of partnering up with Randy's machine out of Long Island, New York, to build his first motor for us. Because it's the first one in the series, and it's a tight rule book. It's not like the modifieds are running, where if it fits under the hood and a 2-barrel goes on top, it's legal.
Yeah. Those are the nice ones. But yeah, NASCAR's a little bit more, should we say, stringent?
Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah. So,
That's a good word. There's like, I think, 12 pages of engine part serial numbers that can be used.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, and to do that research and figure out what's going on, it's just, you know, it's crazy to build your first one like that. You know, you got to kind of get a little insight, and that's where Randy's Performance up in Long Island, New York, is helping us out.
When's your first race?
I don't even know. I haven't seen a schedule out. I haven't seen anybody has a schedule out. I know South Boston put their schedule out, and they're waiting to hear back from Langley as far as their modified schedule so that they can put the Mad Series on their card. Mad Series will be running five race weeks out there for a total of 8 events. NASCAR sanctioned. I just got that today. So Mad Modified Series will be NASCAR sanctioned at South Boston, and then, you know, once that coordinates, then we can work in some other races there. And I'm hoping to run as much of that as possible. I hate to think I started a series and I don't get to play in it. You know?
Yeah, you're hoping it works out, right?
It's a really good series, and it's really where that intermediate econo mod belongs. It brings the price way down, and it's still a big bad race card that is not going to threaten your mortgage to go racing in.
I'm sitting. I see the 2011, but I don't see the 2012.
What's that for NASCAR? Or the,
Yeah.
Wheeler mods?
The Wheeling.
Yeah, I haven't. All I heard is the run of Rockingham, which should be interesting.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I would
cool.
think that'll be a restrictor plate race for the wheeling cars. So,
Well, don't they run restrictors at Loudon?
yeah, I believe so. I believe they run at Bristol too, don't they?
Sure.
I would guess they would have to.
Yeah.
I'm really not sure. I'm a yellow striper in that class.
Rockingham is going to be crowned 2012 champions at Rockingham. That's where they're going to have the last race.
Right. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's supposed to be like a big K&N East NASCAR Southern modified. You'll probably get a bunch of Northern guys come down for that too. Even, I mean, that's probably be the biggest track that these guys have run since. That's bigger than Loudon. What else did the modifieds run? Daytona back in the late '70s when they ran the full course.
They ran road course then.
Well, no, I think the last one was about 80. What was it, 83, maybe 82, something like that. No, I actually had to be older than that because Richie Evans had a really cool looking orange come out and blew everybody's doors off. And they were like, I think they were like 12 miles an hour faster than the Cup cars. They just said, "You guys don't need to come back."
Yeah. They are going to run Rockingham.
Yeah. Along with the K&N Series East.
Along with K&N and UARA, late models are going to be there too.
Right. Yeah, that's what I heard. It's supposed to be like a big end of season, can't miss this kind of show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that should be interesting. I've never really run an oval. I've never raced on an oval that big. I've done some testing and things like that, some practice. I ran a little bit of, maybe a couple dozen laps at Homestead, but it was completely different. Nothing to really prepare me for this. But
this is a mile track, so I wouldn't see why that's probably what they should do is put
a restrictor.
Yeah.
It's a big track for a.
That's a fast.
It's a big fast track for an asphalt modified.
Yeah.
Well, they need to put them on at Bristol because they do run faster than Cup cars there at Bristol.
Well, I mean,
they're running more tire, less weight.
They're going to go faster anywhere they go, really.
Yeah.
You know, if a car is what, 800, 1,000 pounds. What's a Cup car weighing these days? 34, 3,600.
36, I think.
Yeah, 36.
And it's it's 1,000 pounds less.
Yeah, with more tire.
Why, 150 horsepower less, and has another 4 inches of tire, 3 inches of tire. Or something?
Oh yeah.
So, you need more tire. It's 2 inches off the ground. It's 1,000 less. Yeah. Horsepower to weight ratio. It's badass car. It's going to go like hell.
That's getting the weight to horsepower ratio into the grin-inspiring range.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really calculated them out. I was told there wasn't going to be any math on the show tonight.
Oh no, we don't.
No. We're not doing
specifics.
math. Announced today that
we do gross generalizations here.
All NASCAR.
We're going to get quizzed on that. When we bring up lots of power to weight.
Yes, exactly.
Here's the deal. I don't know if you're going to like this or not, but the point systems that the Sprint Cup and Nationwide used.
Yeah, it's like a 1 point spread, right?
Yeah, you're going to be using it next year.
You know, it all really works out to be the same. You know, unless you've got, like I know Cup had it for a while, and I'm not sure what the support series do. I really didn't follow the points in them all that much. But I know Rolling Thunder had it too, where the winner would get like 150 points, and the next guy get like 135, and then it went down 5 each. And I didn't really necessarily agree with that. But if it's a 5 point spread from point to point or a 1 point spread, it really doesn't make a difference because a position is worth a position. 5 points, 1 point, 10 points, 100 points. It's all pretty much going to work out in the end. But it's a lot easier to keep track of.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to keep track of. I do like the bigger spread from second first, though. Put that extra premium on winning, because if the difference is only like 3 points for every position, I don't want to see guys riding around in second just because it's a safe points day when they should be going for the win.
Yeah, you got a point. You you got a point. I can't argue that.
I mean, they changed the point system in Sprint Cup this year, and it wasn't quite as big of a spread as it had been. But I mean, that's how Tony ended up pulling out the championship, because the extra premium on winning is what made the difference and helped him overcome Edwards' points lead. So I liked it.
It must work. They tied. So
Yeah.
It
Must be.
Can't get any closer than that.
Yeah, Carl had slightly better finishing average, but Tony had 4 more wins.
Yeah, and I mean, I keep going. That's got to be one of the best finale races I've seen at the end.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Tony did a great job and earned it, but I was incredibly impressed with Edwards' performance. That's the only guy I've ever seen with glowing rotors on a mile.
Yeah. There was no doubt that Carl was
drove the wheels off that car.
He was doing everything possible.
You know how he felt at the end of it. He put everything into it.
You know, I've had race days that way where
the back of his
I've done everything I possibly could.
I should have just done something else.
Yeah, and you still come up short, and it's a very helpless feeling. I mean, you got to respect the guy that beat you, but at the same time, you're going, what gives? What else do I have to do to win this thing?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, your third place car is a speck in the mirror, if that. So you're peeled away, and Tony's just up there. Putting that 1 second lead, it drops to 0.9. He brings it up to 1.2. His groove comes down. I mean, Tony was just dominant. I mean, he did a great job. He earned it.
And my favorite part of that whole race was every time Tony needed a position, he'd just drive in 5 cars deeper than anybody else was daring to.
That car
drive away.
Stuck. That thing was Superman.
He threw it back in the pack, what, 3 times?
Oh yeah.
Well, we were just talking about 118 cars.
Yeah, 118 cars.
He passed 118 cars.
Yeah, that's impressive.
It wasn't. I don't think they were all for position, but it was 118 cars passed.
I think it might have been position or something. Because he went to
I don't know.
Way in the back several
times.
Well, Doc's sitting here twirling his finger, saying we need to wrap up with you because we got Sergio on here.
Oh, all right. If I don't get to talk to you, enjoy the holidays. My regards to the families, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'll call you this week.
I'm sure we'll be talking to you more, Joe.
Yeah, you can't get away from me that easy.
Yeah, that's right.
You can stick around and put your 2 cents in, and if you want, with Sergio here.
You mean be silent? Are you kidding?
I know it's a hard thing to do.
Tell Sergio I said hi. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, Joe. We'll talk to you later.
Take care. Bye.
We now what? What?
I gotta get him off and get Sergio. Rock and roll.
Sergio?
Yep.
Hey, man. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Sergio Pena.
Okay.
Where'd you K&N this year? Where'd you finish?
I ended up 5th.
You ended up 5th.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm going to tell you how you kind of got. Go ahead. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
About myself?
Yeah, how you got started.
You got a lot of people that probably haven't heard about you. May that be a few, but give everybody a chance to know where you came from and what you're going to and what you hope to be into.
Yeah, well, I got started actually from my dad. He used to race dirt bikes in Columbia, where he was born, and he moved to the States. And when he had me, I got into dirt bikes when I was 4, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to race dirt bikes my whole life, and then I turned 8 and started wanting to jump them instead of race them. So my dad got rid of all the dirt bikes and got me a go-kart. So he wanted to keep me on the ground on 4 wheels. But no, I raced go-karts all the way up until I was 13, all on road courses and stuff, and moved to a Formula car series called the Formula TR Pro Series. And it was a championship that was based out on the West Coast. A lot of the races around California. We went to Miller Motorsports Park a couple times. I raced that for a year, ended up winning Rookie of the Year there, and then basically ran out of money and got too tall for open wheel cars. The next year off, and then we heard about the Drive for Diversity program, so I knew that I needed some oval experience and a little bit of background of racing on ovals. So we got a late model from Robert Presley and raced at Shenandoah Speedway for a year. So that's pretty much to the Drive for Diversity program. Then I've been with them for the past 2 years now.
Okay.
And you had a rare opportunity, went to California and ran the Toyota Shootout and finished second.
Yeah, that was, I can't even describe how crazy that was. As part of the Drive for Diversity Combine, they're actually filming a TV show called Changing Lanes.
Yep.
And, the winner of the show was entered in the Toyota All-Star Showdown. And honestly, I'd only done one season of oval racing. I'd never heard of it before, didn't know. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It wasn't until I got out there I realized how huge of a deal it was, and that Chip Pagano was going to be racing. I had no idea. So then we went to qualified pole. I felt like I was dreaming. It was the craziest weekend of my life. It still doesn't even feel real. But ended up running with Joey there for pretty much the whole race, ended up finishing second. So it was an awesome weekend.
And Joey had won there before, so you were chasing the champion there.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he's a Sprint Cup driver, for Joe Gibbs. I was some 16-year-old kid from Winchester, Virginia. I didn't feel like I belonged there for sure. But it was definitely a blast.
It looked like you did, and you actually represented the East Coast very well out there, I might add. You did an awesome job.
Thank you.
Because I tell you what, I was sitting there watching it, and they said your hometown in Winchester, Virginia, and I was like, I ain't never heard of this kid. Well, he's running asphalt late models. Where? You hadn't heard of you, and now all of a sudden, running K&N and doing very well. What's your plans for next year?
Well, we actually just got back from Langley Speedway for the Drive for Diversity Combine again. Hopefully I'll make that again. They haven't made the announcement yet, so keeping my fingers crossed for that. But hopefully I'll be back with them running the K&N series again. Me and my dad have also planned to race pretty much the full season at Motor Mile in the late model. I actually go to Radford University, and Motor Mile's like just half a mile down the road. So,
yep.
Over summer, we'll be racing our late model there as much as we can, whenever we're off the K&N. And other than that, we'll be looking for more rides. I'm definitely that's my career in the nationwide series.
So you want to move up? Have you been getting that? Have you been doing the talking, trying to get that ride going?
Yeah, I've been talking to a bunch of teams, especially after the showdown. That really opened up a lot of opportunities. I've talked to Michael Waltrip a little bit, Penske. So just a couple different teams. Not really anything too official right now. Just to keep some doors open. I've also talked to a Red Horse team, just to keep doors open and make relationships. Nothing is set in stone yet. I haven't really talked about driving for any of the teams yet. I just want to introduce myself and get my name out there.
That's the way to do it. So,
thanks.
You won at Langley Speedway this year, didn't you?
Yeah, that was the cool part. The combine was at Langley Speedway, and actually ended up getting one of my wins there this year. So I was really excited about that. I thought I have a little bit of an advantage there. So and it definitely helps a lot. Having run, I think 150 laps there was. 150 laps on the track, you know it a lot, really good, especially in the big, heavy East cars that have a lot more power than the late models. So, since we did the combine in the late models, it really slowed everything down a little bit and made it a lot easier for me. So, hopefully, that gave me a little bit of an advantage.
And that was an awesome race. You and let me think, you had a good battle going on there for a little while, didn't you?
Yeah, me and Coleman Presley were battling there for a while in the beginning. And then after the lead, and Brett Moffitt was running me down really fast. Luckily, we ran out of laps there, but he was coming pretty quick too from the back. That was a really awesome win. It's really cool to win my home state of Virginia.
And it was great to have a hometown boy win.
Thank you.
So, any chance you're going to come out and run it? I know you're going to do the K&N, and I'm pretty sure K&N's coming back to Langley, but any chance of getting you down here in the late model?
I would love to. That track is awesome. It's really tough. It's a unique track that I think you really need to be a consistently smooth driver to do good at. So, hopefully we'll be running Motor Mile for sure. But if there's a weekend where we can't run that or something, I'd love to go back down to Langley. It was really fun. It made me feel like I was at home there, and all the fans were really into the race. Everyone know, it's just a great atmosphere to go racing, and I think running the late models there, like their weekly deal, would be really cool.
Yeah.
The fans at Langley have been called a lot of things. Apathetic has never been one of them.
They are a little bit redneck out there. No.
Well, even people they don't know, if they come in and they like the way you drive, you're going to have a lot of people in your corner. Now, since you started out with road course racing, how was your transition to ovals?
Yeah, transition, I would say, was the toughest thing I've done my whole racing career.
It's a lot different, isn't it?
Oh, it's so different. Not just for me, but for my dad.
Yeah.
My dad has been the biggest supporter of me. You know, he's the one that has funded my racing ever since I started. He's been my crew chief, my everything. So we both had to learn, you know, from going everything being symmetrical to everything being completely the opposite.
Right.
And we showed up to the track. Everyone was like, "What the heck?" You know, like we had no idea what we were doing. So we got help from a guy. He lives right down the road from us, actually. His name's Sam Beatty. He runs at Old Dominion Speedway a lot, and he helped us out with the late models. You know, if it wouldn't have been for him there in the beginning, we probably would still be lost right now. So I really got to thank him a lot. You know, he helped us get a really good start. But it's a long process to learn that switch from road courses to ovals. It was a lot harder than we thought it would be.
You got to take and set up that car to do nothing but turning left, and when you're used to having everything pretty much set up even all around.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, also hypothetical here, cost is no issue. Both events will be really fun. Road course and oval, which one would you jump at?
I've had this question asked so many times, and I honestly can't come up with an answer. Ovals, there are two things I like about each thing. The road courses is so much fun because there's deep braking, like out-braking people and downshifting and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing like racing an oval race. You can beat and bang, you can, everything. Just the atmosphere of oval race is so much different. You know, you're so close with the fans, with all the drivers, all the teams are right there together. Also, the difference between first and last place is so much closer than it is on a road course, which makes for more exciting and thrilling racing.
So you think the oval is more competitive for you then?
Yeah, oh, definitely. I would say any day it's harder to win on an oval than it is a road course. And I enjoy racing ovals more.
Get to beat and bang a little bit more, don't you?
Yeah, you can get up and, you know, make it a little bit more exciting and interesting.
You can beat and bang on a road course, too, but there's more trees to hit.
Yeah, but you can't carry the dude down. Yeah. Well, that's true. That's true.
We were testing at, there's a road course called by my house here in Virginia. And I was testing an old Bush car, and I hit a groundhog going like 120.
Well,
we destroyed the front end of the car. Yeah.
It happened at Homestead a couple of times.
Yeah.
Well, and
previous years, yeah.
I've got a story I'll tell you later. I can't say it on air, but there's one of an old flagman doing from Talladega in a deer. So.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the pictures of that one where the deer was basically, embedded in that sucker.
Yeah, and there's one of
I think it was a Nationwide car, wasn't it?
No, this has been. It was a Cup car, and it was many moons ago. But yeah, there was Homestead. It was a. No, it wasn't. It was Phoenix. It was one of them damn foxes. So.
I hit a squirrel at Fort Eustis in a shifter cart once.
Fort Eustis hit a squirrel
at the end of the straightaway.
Wow.
That was that was. I still have a piece of fiberglass up my rear on that one.
So, well, listen, Sergio, we're going to let you get out of here. This is our first show back since holidays, I should say. And
okay.
I know you got some sponsors and some people you need to thank out there. Let's kind of give it a rundown.
Yeah, well, thanks you guys for having me. I really got to thank the Drive for Diversity program that NASCAR has. It's so great. I wouldn't be racing without it. And the sponsors that sponsors Toyota, Freightliner, and Subway on my car, the Army. There's so many people that Max Siegel, Andy Santero, my crew chief Matt Ghostland. He did such a heck of a job last year. I wouldn't have been anywhere near where I was without him. So I want to thank all the guys at Revolution Racing. I know they're working hard right now and getting ready for next season. So we'll see.
All right.
I meant to ask, I know
There
y'all
he
went
is.
through the combine stuff. What did you think about when y'all were at Langley going through the combine and running through the car so quick?
I'm sorry. So can you say that again? I was breaking up a little bit.
Okay, when you were down here at Langley for the combine thing we just had a couple of months ago,
Yep.
what was your feeling about all of a sudden going through all the cars really quick?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I don't know. They try to set up all those cars as equally as possible, and two of them got wrecked, I think. So that wasn't exactly what they were hoping for. But I don't know. It's just you got to get all the drivers to see how far they can push, how hard they can go, in all the different cars. So I don't know. I think the combine went pretty well.
Yeah,
Good.
I wanted to put that in. I missed a while ago. I was updating one of the websites here for us. But once again, thanks for being on the show, and we will have you back again if that's all right with you.
All
right, Sergio, you go have a good night.
right, you too. Take care.
Thanks,
All right.
Sergio.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye bye.
I will say off air, I've talked to him on the phone, and I've talked to him at Langley.
Yeah.
And he's one of the nicest kids you ever met. He really is a great kid, very well spoken, and loves racing. You can tell he's not in it because
Oh, you can tell that on the phone.
he's into the racing.
He's the anti-Bush.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was going to say he's more like Tony Stewart. He really
Yeah.
doesn't care about
Well, Tony Stewart's
Kenny
the original.
Schrader.
or
anti-Bush.
Kenny Schrader,
Yeah.
and that's another one. They want to race.
Well,
Just to
Tony's
get
the
out.
original anti-Bush.
I got to give you that.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah, they butted heads before. Is there anybody out there
Several
that
times.
Kyle and Kurt have not butted heads with? I know Jimmy Spencer's probably still saying, "I owe that Kurt."
Oh yeah.
What about Joey Logano?
No,
Kyle.
Joey Logano and,
And Kyle?
Kyle.
and Kurt.
And
have had
Kurt.
run-ins.
Oh,
Joey and Kyle haven't, because they're actually good friends.
Well, Joey and Kurt ran Joey up into the wall along him and Biffle both ran him up into the wall at Pocono. I think early this year.
I know the Biff did to Kurt.
Yeah, did it to Kurt also. I don't know. They've had run-ins with so many people.
It's hard to tell who's not.
Yeah.
It's easier to start up a list of who hasn't.
Although Joey Logano and Kyle, I don't know if you can really count that because they're teammates. And
Well,
so,
Kyle and Denny
I
have gotten into it.
Yeah, but Denny, I don't know how to put this. Kyle's got attitude. Denny's got heart, and they both think they're the top dog. So, yeah, you're gonna have clashing. They're on the same team, but they're trying to vie for that top position at the team.
Yeah.
So I think that's where their tension comes in.
Well, I know this.
I don't know. I'm not a Bush fan anyway. Doesn't matter what their first name is.
I respect both of them's driving ability. I think they're both greater than what they think they are. But the attitudes and the off-track antics have to stop.
I tell you, the biggest thing I don't like about both of them is every interview, every time they're in front of a camera, they have this entitlement attitude about things going the way they did or not going the way they should, or NASCAR owes them this, or their team owes them this, or their competitors owe them this. And I'm sorry, you're racing, it's hard, and you got to scrap for every inch anyway, but you can do it without being a jerk.
That's true. Yeah, and that's
I mean,
their biggest problem.
You and I can be in identical equipment, have a knockdown drag out on the track, get back to the pits and be laughing about how great fun it was. Or we can go do the same thing and be complaining.
Why didn't he
about
give me room, or why didn't he do this?
I was
Why the heck
faster.
you didn't
he
let me
should
get
have
in there
gone-
when I needed to get down?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the difference between the Bushes and people we actually respect.
That's why Kyle hasn't won a championship yet.
I don't think that's the only reason, but I think that's that
Well,
kind of attitude.
Well,
that
having
kind
sit
of,
out for one race, that sort of puts a damper in it big time.
Well, there's that, but
He still wasn't in contention before that.
Yeah, but see, that attitude, I don't
My
think
opinion.
is the only thing keeping him from winning a championship, but is definitely not helping his cause.
It's not helping his
Yeah.
Because when he does need to fight for a position and take something, he has no goodwill built up with anybody.
They're not going to give him any slack.
Yeah, there's no incentive to give him that extra inch he's asking for.
Well, and he's done so much throughout the year, and you're right. He's done so much throughout the year, and he's won so many races, and he's done it.
Getting married in the off season and the way he started this season, I'm talking about Kyle right now. Kurt's still a moron, but the way Kyle started the season, he started off on the right foot. There were so many people talking about it,
And
it
then
was
he just took a right turn.
Well, actually, he did a U-turn and went right back where he was.
Yeah. After the speeding ticket, that's when it started going downhill.
Well, now
It was
I'm
right
going
back
to
in
be
rare
devil's
form then.
advocate or Libra, however you want to call it.
Okay.
Remember, he was the only one caught.
Only one caught.
There were 2 other people that did it and didn't get caught.
What, going 146 and a 35?
Or zipping in that. No, there were more than one person test driving that car at fast speeds, and I'll leave it at that.
But
They're professional race drivers. They can't, they're. If you're going to test drive a car at that kind of speed or whatever,
Go out on a racetrack at least.
Exactly. It's not like you. It's not like people. You show up to a racetrack and say, "Hey, I want to run this car around." That people are going to go, "Well, I don't know you, and here's the fee." Or I mean,
Actually,
you can go to Langley
Charlotte
Speedway
does
and
do that. Charlotte has a charity program. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I think it was either around Thanksgiving or around Christmas. You go out there and you can run what you run for a few laps for X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And it went to charity.
Well, Langley Speedway, you can show up there with pretty much anything you want and pay for your 30-minute or 1 hour time block and run whatever you want.
Hey, Matt, you got to pay?
No comment. But Kyle Busch got caught, and there's been many race car drivers that got caught. Scott Wimmer got caught DUI.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened to his career?
Oh yeah.
Well, they just had a special on Shane Meal. Well, no, Shane or Steve?
Shane, Steve's the dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shane.
But he did turn his life around. Whether NASCAR would have let him back in or not remains to be unseen.
Because now he's got a big fight ahead of him.
Well,
The last thing I heard is he's starting to walk. Finally.
He still has one hand that has some issues with.
So, is he going to get back in a race car? I don't know. But he had been clean and sober for 2 years.
yeah, but then you have somebody like Jeremy Mayfield who is the perpetual screw up and will never be making it back.
And it still amazes me today because he had everything.
He had absolutely everything. He actually had maybe not a stellar career ahead of him, but at least a promising one.
Have you ever listened to Hollywood people?
Oh yeah.
I mean, golly! I mean, these guys make way more than the drivers do, and they get involved in all this stuff, and it creates a whole new series. It makes a whole new reality show.
Do I need to say anything else?
Who?
Yeah, Tom Sizemore.
Oh yeah.
Not anywho.
Well, the difference between Hollywood and NASCAR is the substance abuse policy. So.
Well, that's kind of true, when you think about it, yeah. And I applaud NASCAR, and I think it needs to be.
Oh yeah, it needs to be.
I wonder
enforced. I think it needs to come down to the lower levels. And
I was just saying, I wonder what would happen if Langley started doing that.
Well, I think it needs to, because it's not like it was 30 years ago. Yeah, there was guys before they were getting in the car. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah. My dad's got stories of a modified guy that he
had to get him tanked before he could race.
And some of these guys would carry guns with them while they're racing.
Well, there's a ton of them stories.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But no, the guy my dad helped with, they'd show up to the track and practice, and they'd be the slowest thing out there. They'd go to qualify, and he couldn't get the car to go around the track to save his tail. So they sneak him out of the pits to the front gate pub for like 2 hours before the race, and then sneak him back in and pour him into the car. Next thing you know, he's the fastest thing on the track. They didn't change a thing.
But But these days and age, and the sophistication of the cars and all that, there is no room for it.
Oh no, not at
so
all.
you know,
back then, like that was a Model T frame beefed up with like railroad iron.
Yeah, they were indestructible.
Well, they were not only were they indestructible, they precise was a
looks good to me.
Yeah, it was a wishful thinking kind of thing.
So,
but
I think
you may
there's
turn the
room for
wheel 20 degrees before the steering follows. So,
I don't know if I want to be in a car like that.
Well, today's cars, I mean, that would be reason to fail pre-tech or pre-race inspection. Back then, that was the way it had to be. You couldn't afford anything newer, tighter, whatever. Yeah. Or if you put in newer parts, they just wear out to the point you're at now. And it's lasted for years this way, so why bother? You know.
I'm just watching. I know your mannerisms. You're ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's get out of here.
Let's wrap it up.
Have a good
night. I'd like to thank everybody for watching Let's Talk Racing tonight, and we'll see you next week. See ya!
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driving 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Pena, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.